Olá, galera! Sejam todos muito bem-vindos à nossa aula 2 do Minicourse em Brazilian Português. Como vocês estão? So welcome, guys, to our live class number 2 of our Minicourse in Brazilian Portuguese. This is the second class we are offering you during this amazing week full of content prepared with great care for you guys to enjoy. So how are you? I hope you guys are as excited as we are here with this event. It's been a while since we last prepared a full week of classes, and let me tell you, these classes are being offering to you for the first time. So they are all new. The classes, the content, the PDF files, it's everything prepared from scratch for you guys. So I really hope you enjoy. So let me know your names and where you guys are right now. So let's start with that. Tell us your name, where you are from. All of this for us is very important. And that's why we planned this live class today, because we wanted to be very close to you and get to know you guys better. Because often we just have these pre-recorded classes, because as we are teaching for people from all over the world, we have, for example, people here from the US, from the UK, from Korea, from Australia. So it's really hard to find a schedule to reunite all of you guys. That's why we have these pre-recorded classes. This way you guys can watch from wherever you are. But we wanted to make at least one live meeting, because we know that this interaction with you guys, it's amazing. For us, it means a lot to be able to interact with you, talk to you, get to know you guys a little more, understand your needs, your questions. So that's why we are here today. So as I said, I would love to know you guys, to know your name and where you are from. So I can start with myself. I'm Ludmila. Meu nome é Ludmila. And I'm from Brazil. Eu sou do Brasil. E eu moro em Juiz de Fora, que é uma cidade do estado de Minas Gerais. I live in Juiz de Fora, a city in the state of Minas Gerais. Okay? So let me see your answers, guys. Tudo bom, gente? Sunmesh 7 Kings London, UK, hello. Olá, Donegal, Ireland. That's nice. We have many students from Ireland. There's a gang from Ireland in our course, in our school. Sou James, sou de Gales, que legal, mas moro na Inglaterra. Oi, Matthew, tudo bom? Sou Janice, sou do Suriname. Yes, and it's a country in the South America. Oi, Jacob, tudo bom? Oi, Mark. Meu nome é James, eu sou da Irlanda, mas eu moro em Londres. Mark, Tunísia, that's nice. Jacob, canadense, mora em Toronto. Oi, Stephanie, tudo bem? Oi, Maria, eu moro na Suíça. It's nice. Meu nome é Mark, eu sou da Irlanda. Many Irish people. Olá, Neil, tudo bom? Medellín, Colômbia. Eu sou Yepper, de Washington, D.C. That's cool. For those of you who don't know this yet, we use this word, this name, to call the students from our school, Yeppers. So all Yeppers are the students from our school. So let me see, how many Yeppers we have here actually. So just write hashtag Yepper so I know you are a Yepper and you are here watching this class. Oi, Auguste, Kesner, tudo bom? Oi, me chamo Sidney, sou de Carangola, Minas Gerais. Ah, super close. Are you Brazilian? Meu nome é Jaza e eu sou da Arábia Saudita. How nice! Oh, Mary, Yapper forever! Mary is a very dear Yapper. So I want to see you guys. Yeah, oh, so more Yappers! Yappers! So you guys can see this hashtag Yapper means these students are already inside our school in our program. Okay, guys. So I'm super glad to be here this afternoon here in Brazil. I don't know, is it late for you guys or is it morning yet? Let me know. What time is it where you guys are right now? So just seeing more answers. Eu sou Matthew, sou da Inglaterra, and Yapper. Juan, also Yapper. This is pretty cool, guys. So let me introduce you a little bit to the theme we are going to have today in our class. But before, let me just tell you, yesterday in class number 1, Adriele talked to you about the present. So she showed you how to use verbs in the present tense in Portuguese, right? So this is a very important verb tense, of course, especially to do these greetings, these introductions. We normally use present to do this kind of things. So you also learn how to introduce yourself, how to introduce other people, how to say your nationality, where you are from. She also told you how to say where you live, the city where you live. So she discussed a little bit of how to use prepositions for cities, for countries, and you know it's not a piece of cake if you don't know it yet, but if you do, it's not like the hardest thing in the world, not at all. And if you missed this class, guys, please watch the class. It's available in our specific website for the mini course in Brazilian Portuguese. So if you are subscribed to the event, you can just click the link you received in your email or on the WhatsApp group and go to our page and watch this class. Don't forget to do it, okay? It's very important. And you guys will learn so much with this class. So don't miss it, okay? So today we are going to talk about the past. And I know that when we mention past, sometimes people freeze, like, oh my god, past in Portuguese, so hard. But first of all, it's not that hard. And second thing, when we are trying to make connections with people, what is the thing that we do more often? We tell stories about our past, about our lives. We tell things that happened to us, things that we lived. So when we do this, we need to use past tense. When we are telling stories, things that happened, we need past tense. That's why we cannot ignore it. Not at all. If you want to have deeper conversations with Brazilian people, you need this verb tense. You need to be able to use this verb tense to talk about your life, what happened to you, what you saw yesterday, what you did last year, the place you visit. You see? So it's all about this. Make greater connections. Okay? So this is our main focus today. We're going to discuss the past. I'm going to show you how to use pretérito perfeito, this verb tense in Portuguese. And also we're going to discuss a very tasty topic. We're going to talk about food. So I'm going to show you the main vocabulary related to food. What do you use to talk about food, drinks, and I'm going to show you some specific lines that you may need to use in a restaurant when coming to Brazil. What do you guys think? Is it good? Are you excited for this class? Let me know. Use the comment section or the chat so I know you guys are at the same page as me. So let me see you guys answer me about the time. It's 8 p.m. in Ireland. Okay, so 3 p.m. for Juan. So Juan, you are probably at EST time zone. Mesma hora no Suriname, cool. Oi, Ernest, moro em Oakland, California, that's cool. 8 da noite, Matthew, okay. 8 p.m. in UK. I'm a real beginner, that's totally fine, guys. This course is designed for you guys who are beginners, who doesn't know how to say anything in Portuguese, it's fine. And when you join our program, we start from the right beginning. It starts from scratch. But if you already know some Portuguese, you can skip some first units in our course and start in a more advanced level, okay? So that's what we try to do. We try to cover all levels. Let me see. Oh, Jacob, I saw the last week's class was about how to be polite in Portuguese, so I figured I wouldn't need that class. Oh no, Jacob, you need it. Mary, you liked, right? Comida, good topic. So, Janice, perfeito, bora. Oh, I'm glad to see that you guys are excited. I am too. By the way, what do you guys think of Brazilian cuisine? Have you ever tried it? Anything? Maybe coxinha, pão de queijo, feijoada, what else? Guaraná, which is our soda. What else? So many things. Brigadeiro, cajuzinho. Have you ever tried anything? Let me know what you guys think of Brazilian cuisine. And if you don't know anything, you must do something about it quickly. Okay, so guys, we're going to start now, and I want to remind you to use the chat all the time if you want to ask anything, if you didn't understand something, okay? That's how we are going to communicate during this class, okay? Also, don't forget to download the PDF file for this class. It's available in the website from the Minicourse. So if you haven't done it yet, you can go to the Minicourse page after the class, download it, and then you can study later, use this material to practice more. I'm gonna send to the WhatsApp groups we created exclusively for this mini course some exercises and the audios from this class, so you guys will be able to practice your listening, okay? So that's why we say it's very important to be inside the WhatsApp groups we create for the mini course, okay? Feijoada maravilhosa. Ah, did you like it, Mary? That's nice. It's a very strong thing. I think that it's something that either you love it or hate it, right? So that's nice that you like it. Matthew, não sei. Stephanie, I have never tried it. So we have many different things, actually. It's a huge country, you guys know, so we have many different things to according to each region, each state. So the food can also change a lot. Janice, sou vegetariana, mas todos os pratos que comi até agora é muito bom, é muito delicioso, são muito gostosos. That's nice. People, the vegan people here, they try to adapt many of the most famous dishes to a vegan version, and I have tried some and they are delicious. For example, I have tried coxinha made not with chicken meat but actually with jackfruit. Have you ever tried it? It's very nice. It really seems like real meat. It's very interesting, guys. Eu faço brigadeiro todo ano pro aniversário da minha esposa. A gente gosta muito. Brigadeiros. It has a very special space in my heart. Salpicão, I love it too, James. That's a very nice reminder. Salpicão, we don't talk a lot about it, but it's very nice salad. açaí. Amazing. That's right, guys. So, ready? Prontos? Vamos lá? Vamos começar? So, now I'm going to share with you my screen so you guys can see it, but I'm here too. And we are going to start reading a dialogue, okay? We have these two guys, Bruno and Mariana. They are talking about something they did last week, okay? And this conversation will involve food, restaurant, this kind of things, okay? First thing now, I want you guys to pay attention to my pronunciation, okay? Let's focus first in listening the sounds, try to understand it. So I'm gonna read it and you can follow. Then we're going to read it again, trying to understand the dialogue, okay? So you can focus on the sounds first. Got it? Vamos lá. Você já foi no restaurante novo que abriu? Já sim. Eu fui na semana passada. E você gostou? Adorei. O restaurante é excelente. O que você comeu lá? Eu comi um risoto de camarão maravilhoso. E o João, meu marido, comeu um filé ao molho de açaí e umas batatas. Ele amou também. Nossa, tô com água na boca. E o que vocês beberam? Eu tomei uma taça de vinho branco e o João um vinho tinto. E vocês pediram sobremesa? Pedimos, mas só uma, e nós dividimos. Escolhemos um petit gâteau de doce de leite e sorvete de tapioca. Delicioso! Ai, quero ir lá. Too fast? What do you guys think? We always think it's too fast when we first listen to a dialogue. And here, guys, this is important about our methodology. We don't try to read things slower to you or speak in an artificial way to make it easier for you guys to understand. From the very first class in our program, we are always telling you things the way people really say it here in Brazil. We want you guys to be able to understand people the way people say things. So that's why I'm gonna read it like this. Of course, in the first times, in the first moments, we're going to find it really hard. We can't like recognize sounds and letters, words, but then with practice and with our tips, because we are always telling you, oh, this letter here is pronounced like this, actually. Oh, this first syllable is dropped. We don't really pronounce it. So we often give you tips so you guys can understand better how to read things, and then you'll be able to understand more when people speak to you. Okay? So now let's see the content. Let's understand what they are talking about. Então, vamos lá. So here, guys, we are going to understand the whole context, the idea of this dialogue, and then we are going to check the past tense in detail, okay? So let's see first the general idea. So Bruno asks, você já foi no restaurante novo que abriu? So he's asking, have you ever been to the new restaurant that opened? So, você já foi, have you ever been, or have you already been to the new restaurant that opened? So here, as you can see, we have two verbs in the past, foi and abriu. We'll talk about them later, okay? Then Mariana says, já sim. So this is an affirmative answer to this question. So, yes, I have. In Portuguese, it's common to use the word já, that means already, and sim, which means yes, okay? So, yes, I have. That's what we would translate to in English. And she says, eu fui na semana passada. I've been there last week. So, eu fui, I've been there, last week, okay? And he asks, e você gostou? And did you like it? So another verb in the past, gostou. Also here, fui, okay? I went to or I've been there. And she says, adorei, love it. This is interesting, guys, because, and I think we'll mention this more often during this week, but we use the verb adorar very much to say that we like something a lot. And it's more used than in English. In English, I see that people use more often the verb love to give emphasis to something they like. So I love it. In Portuguese, it's very common to say eu adorei. Just as much as eu amei, okay? So I love it. And she says, o restaurante é excelente. This is fine, right? The restaurant is excellent. So, Bruno asks, o que você comeu lá? What did you eat there? Or what did you have there? Okay? So, another verb in the past, comeu. Then she says, eu comi risoto de camarão maravilhoso. So, I ate or I had a wonderful... What is camarão? I want to see if you guys know the meaning. If you do know, please write on the chat. What's the meaning of camarão? So, I had a wonderful tanana risotto. Okay? Notice that it's common in Portuguese to add this adjective in the end. Eu comi risoto de camarão maravilhoso. Okay? So, who knows what's camarão? What's the meaning? Camarão. Ah, very good, Mark. Very good, Manuela. Beleza, Brasil. Shrimp, okay? A shrimp risotto. Very good, guys. Good job. Then, she says, e o João, meu marido, comeu filé ao molho de açaí e umas batatas. And João, my husband, ate filé with açaí sauce and some potatoes, okay? So he had a filé. When we just say filé, you can infer we are talking about beef, okay? So if someone says filé or just the word, let me write here, carne, which means meat, people are talking about beef, okay? So he had a filé with açaí sauce. Guys, this is not something regular, I have to tell you, but I have tried this before. I have tried a filé with açaí sauce. Delicious, delicious. And some potatoes, umas batatas. I want to show you another interesting thing. I don't know, maybe some of you who already talk to Brazilians have already noticed this. Sometimes, in some regions actually, in some regions in Brazil, people use the definite article, like in here, before first names. So we say o João, a Mariana, a Adriele, a Ludmila, o Neil, o Mark. Have you noticed this? It's very common. For example, in my region, we do use it before first names. It's not mandatory, even because in some regions people don't do it. They don't add it. So, as I said, we always tell you what people do, and if it's different in some regions, we always tell you too, because this way, if you listen to it, you won't find it so weird. It's common, okay? It's a common thing. You can choose if you want to do it like some regions do or not, okay? So, finally, Mariana says, ele amou também. He loved it too. Because she had said that the restaurant is excellent, that the risotto she had eaten was marvelous. So she added that he loved the restaurant food too. Then Bruno says, Nossa. Nossa, guys, is an expression to show surprise. It can be translated in different ways. In this case, it could be something like wow, because Bruno is like admiring this restaurant. What is she telling him about the restaurant, right? So, wow, it could be translated like this in this case, okay? And then, what a nice expression here we have, guys. Tô com água na boca. Who knows the meaning of this expression? Tô com água na boca. If you do know, write on the chat. Tô com água na boca. It's not that hard to adapt to English. Let me know. And finally, he asks, e o que vocês beberam? And what did you drink? Okay? What did you drink? So, another verb in the past, beber, drink. So, before we go to the next line, I want to know if anyone knows what's the meaning of tô com água na boca. Tô com água na boca. Let me know, guys. I needed to have some water. Okay, so I can see some answers. Yeah. Makes my mouth water. I'm not exactly thirsty, but it's a mouth watering. You know, you have this expression in English too. When you, for example, see a picture of a delicious food or see someone eating something that seems to be delicious, you know, this desire that comes and makes you crave that thing, then you can say, oh, I have my mouth watering. It makes my mouth water, or I'm mouth watering. You see, this is the expression in Portuguese. Tô, which is the informal contraction of the verb estar, like I'm with water in my mouth. So literally, this is the translation. I'm with water in my mouth. It makes my mouth water. Okay? That's it. So then Mariana answers. So she's going to say what they drank. She says, eu tomei uma taça de vinho branco e o João vinho tinto. So I drank. Actually, here she's using the verb tomar, which can be translated as take, okay? Or had, in this case. I had a glass of white wine and João, a red wine, okay? So white wine, red wine. Attention here, another curiosity, guys. Red in Portuguese is what? How do we say red in Portuguese? Vermelho, right? Let me write here for you. Vermelho. This is the word for red, the color. But we don't say vinho vermelho. You won't hear this. If you wanna mean red wine, you use the word tinto. Vinho tinto means red wine, okay? So that's why languages are not about translating them. No, if it was, it would be much easier. It's not only about that. So I had a glass of white wine and João red wine. Then Bruno asks, e vocês pediram sobremesa? And did you order dessert? Then she says, pedimos, we did. This is a funny thing, guys. We talked about it in detail in our course, in our full course, but let me tell you a little bit about it. Instead of answer with sim, which is yes, or we don't have an auxiliary verb, right? So we couldn't use something like we did. So the more common answer is to use the same verb of the question, but conjugated with the subject that we have in the answer. Because here the question was made with vocês as subject. The answer is then with nós, which means we, right? So I just put the verb conjugated with we, nós, and I use the verb pedimos, okay? So, as I said, we talk in more detail about this, but just showing you this pattern we have in Portuguese. Pedimos, so did you order dessert? We did, mas só uma, but only one. E nós dividimos, and we shared. Now it's interesting. Escolhemos petit gâteau de doce de leite. Petit gâteau, as some of you may notice, is a word from French. It's not a Portuguese word. And it got popular in Brazil, and we used to refer to a small cake like this. It's a small cake like this, and inside it, it's melted. It's delicious. And I've heard that in France they don't have it. I don't know why we use the name in French and why they are so popular here. They're very popular in restaurants as an option for dessert. But anyway, it seems it's not common in France. But that's it. It's a small cake, normally a chocolate cake, and inside it it's melted. It's melted chocolate. Amazing. It's normally served with a ball of ice cream, ice cream, you know, like. But this one is different. The cake, the small cake, petit gâteau, it's made of doce de leite. Who knows what's doce de leite? It's very common in Brazil, especially in Minas Gerais, my state. We are, I think we can say that we are specialized in doing this sweet doce de leite. So if you know, put here the meaning. It's not a lava cake, Andrea, because the lava cake, I would say it's bigger, and this sauce that comes from the cake is like outside the cake. In this case, it's inside the cake. When you cut it, you feel it inside it. It's a bit different, but you got the idea. So this is a petit gâteau of this cake, this sweet made of doce de leite, and it's served with tapioca ice cream. Guys, this exists. It's amazing. Amazing. A small cake made of doce de leite and ice cream made of tapioca. It's amazing. If you're here, try it, please, okay? It's delicioso. It's delicious, okay? Yeah, Jane, very good. Is it the same as what we call dulce de leche? Yes, so you guys who know Latin America, especially I think Argentina, Chile, I know that in Argentina, dulce de leche is very common too, right? It's a bit different, the one from Argentina, from ours. People say it's a bit different. Of course, we have different recipes, but it's, in the end, it's the same thing. It's delicious. It's very sweet. Not everybody likes it. Okay, so then, Bruno, of course, what could he say? He says, ai, quero ir lá. Oh, I want to go there. Of course, with this menu. Okay. That's it, guys. So let's talk a little bit about the past, okay? So first of all, the past we are going to discuss today is what we call, in Portuguese, pretérito perfeito. Pretérito is another word for past, okay? Perfeito, perfect. So it would be past perfect. I don't like to translate it because past perfect in English is used for different situations, you see? So I prefer to just call it the way we call it in Portuguese. So when are we going to use this verb tense, guys? So it indicates an action that took place in a certain moment in the past, having its beginning and the end in the past. So we are talking about something that happened in the past and it's done, okay? It's finished. It's not continuing until the present moment, okay? Also, this is important. Very often it has this notion of something that happened in a specific time in the past. We can point like this happened this day, you see? And this will be an interesting differentiation for pretérito imperfeito, which is another verb tense for the past in Portuguese. And we won't talk about it today, otherwise we would stay here forever, okay? But this is an important thing for you guys to differentiate, okay? So I picked this sentence from the dialogue. Ele amou o restaurante. He loved the restaurant, okay? So here we have the verb amar in the past. So let's see some verbs used in this dialogue in the past so we can compare them and see if we can find some patterns that can help us to memorize how we can conjugate these verbs. Let's do it. So let's go, guys. Let me show you. One important thing to know about verbs in Portuguese is this. We divide verbs into 3 different groups. And the first group reunites verbs that end in, let me put here, AR. When these verbs are in the infinitive form, they end in AR. All of these here are verbs from this first conjugation then, right? Gostar, amar, adorar, tomar. Okay? This is the most productive verb conjugation. It's the one where we find most of the verbs in Portuguese. We also have a second verb conjugation, which reunites verbs ending in ER. Okay? Forget about the TV show. So verbs like comer, beber, we are going to see them. And the third conjugation reunites verbs ending in IR. Verbs like dormir, sair, okay? We'll talk about them later too. So check these verbs right here, guys. Gostar, like, amar, love, adorar, adore, tomar can be translated as take, okay? So these verbs, which are all regular, we just have this. If we separate this termination, AR, this first part here is what we call the radical of the verb. It's a verb that will resist in all conjugations. It won't change. So you can see that it's repeated here. You see, for all persons in the speech. Eu, você, ele, it's repeating. Here, if we do that, it will be the same. If we isolate AR, this first part, called the radical, will be repeated. Here, 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 and it goes on. Also here, for the verb adorar, and for the verb, tomar, okay? So this means that this first part will be the same, and all that we need to change is this termination that will change according to the subject. So depending on the subject of this verb, we change the termination of the verb. So here you can see that for the first person singular, eu, I, we have this termination, ei. Eu gostei, eu amei, eu adorei, eu tomei. Okay? For the second and for the third person singular, and this is good because we have only one termination for these two persons, second and third person in the speech, we have this termination, ou. Você gostou, você amou, ela adorou, ela tomou, okay? When we talk about the first person plural, nós, we have this termination, amos. Nós gostamos, nós amamos, nós adoramos, nós tomamos. And again, the second and third person plural, vocês, elas, eles, will have the same termination. Vocês gostaram, elas amaram, eles adoraram, vocês tomaram. Okay? So, in the end, we have four terminations, four different terminations instead of having 6. It could be worse, guys. So, it's 4, okay? So, remember they change according the subject we choose, okay? And you know how to find this first part. It comes from the infinitive form, okay? What about the second conjugation? As we saw, they reunite verbs ending in ER. Comer, beber, escolher. Here, guys, the same happens, okay? If we isolate ER, this first part here is what we call the radical, and it's the part that will be repeated in all conjugations. Same here and same here. And again, we are going to notice that we have the same termination for all verbs conjugated with the same person. So, first person singular ends in I. Eu comi, eu bebi, eu escolhi. Second and third person plural, not plural, singular. Você, ela, ele, it's eu. Você comeu, ela bebeu, ele escolheu. First person plural, emos, nós comemos, nós bebemos. And second and third plural, it's eram. Vocês comeram, vocês beberam, vocês escolheram. Again, we have only 4 different terminations to use here. And these terminations in different colors will change according to the subject we choose here. Okay? This is the thing that we have to consider to choose the termination. And the first part, you guys saw how we find it, right? So just a quick recall. Comer is the verb eat, beber, drink, and escolher, choose. Now let's see the last group of conjugation. Here it is. It's the third conjugation, guys. Here we have the verbs ending in IR, right? So, ir, abrir, pedir, dividir, okay? This one means go, abrir, open, pedir. In this case, in the dialogue, pedir had the sense of order something in a restaurant. And dividir in the dialogue had the meaning of share a dessert, okay? So guys, with these verbs, actually between these verbs we have an irregular one. This happens, right? Sometimes we find irregular verbs. That means that we can't find the radical as we did for the other ones. Remember, we isolate the IR, and then this first part called radical will be repeated for all the verbs. We can do this with the verb abrir, pedir, dividir, just as we did for the other verbs, but not with this one, because it's an irregular verb, okay? It means that the radical changes, and you can see it's quite different from the infinitive form, right? And also, it won't follow the typical terminations we have for each person, okay? So, this is an atypical verb, and as it's a verb that we use a lot, very often, it's important for us to pay attention to it, memorize it, practice a lot, because you're going to need it, okay? So, here we have eu fui, você or ela, ele foi, nós fomos, vocês or elas, eles foram. Again, we have the same form here for the second and third person singular, and here the same for second and third person plural. Here, guys, you're going to see the same termination for the first person singular, same for the second and third person singular, same here for the first person plural, and same here for the second and third person plural. Eu abri, eu pedi, você abriu, você pediu, ela pediu, ela dividiu, nós abrimos, nós pedimos, vocês pediram, vocês dividiram. Okay? Okay. So these are the verbs we learned during this dialogue, and these terminations and this way to find the radical, guys, will be pretty much repeated for other verbs which are considered regular. The thing is about the irregular verbs. Oh, how will I know that a verb is irregular? Guys, this is something very interesting. Normally, irregular verbs are the same across languages. We have very few exceptions. And they are irregular because they are very much used. They are very often used. So think about irregular verbs in English, like go, have, be, can. Think of them. They will also be irregular in Portuguese. So this is an interesting thing to memorize. Normally, irregular verbs are the same across languages, and they are normally various verbs that are used very often. That's why we memorize them. If they were not very much used, we wouldn't be able to memorize them, even as a native speaker, right? So now that we passed the hardest thing from our class, let's now enjoy, because we're going to talk about food, okay? This is the final moment, so enjoy this final moment, guys. So let's see the vocabulary. First, I'm going to show you the list of things that we saw in the dialogue. We already translated them, but let's just review them. Time expressions. We use this one, na semana passada. So when we want to talk about last week, we can say na semana passada. Let's say we want to say last month. No mês passado. Last year. No ano passado. Okay? So here we add the time unity, mês, ano, semana, and we make the agreements. Semana is feminine, so we say na semana passada. Mês and ano are masculine, so we say no and then passado. Okay? Ontem means yesterday. Okay? Comida, we saw them all, right? Risoto, camarão, filé, molho. Hard to find it in the US, I know. I don't know about other countries. Can you guys find açaí in your country? If you can, try it. So nice, guys. So nice when it's hot, especially. I think I love it. You know, when it's like 30 degrees Celsius here in Brazil, very hot, I want to have something refreshing. Açaí is perfect. It can even like replace a meal because it's very strong. Batatas, potatoes, petit gâteau, the small cake I mentioned, doce de leite, which is a candy made from milk. We could say a milk sweet. It could be something like this. Ice cream, tapioca, which is something that comes from cassava flour. Okay. Okay. So continuing here in the dialogue, we use this word taça, which is glass. Okay, glass. White wine, vinho tinto, red wine, and if we want to say vinho rosé, we say the same way, rosé, vinho rosé, rosé, okay? A tip, when we have a word starting with R in Portuguese, this is the pronunciation, rosé, rosé. It's like hospital, hotel, okay? You can like think of an H in the beginning of a word in English. It's the same sound, okay? We have a couple frozen acai vendors. A very good one in Montreal. It's hard to find though. Oh, but it's a good idea, frozen acai. There are many Brazilian shops here, and I know of one Brazilian padaria. That's cool. That's cool, guys. Yeah. So continuing. The other expressions we saw in the dialogue. Novo, new, and, sim, yes. Excelente is like English. O que is what. It's the expression we use to ask something. O que. Sometimes also we use not for ask things, but in affirmative sentences. Lá means there. Maravilhoso, wonderful. Meu marido, my husband. Também, also. Nossa, remember? Something like wow. Só, only. Delicioso, delicious, right? And now, I'm gonna show you, and brace yourself, okay? I'm gonna show you sentences for you guys to use in a restaurant. Sometimes we need to say some things, right? To communicate. It's not only about choosing your dish, right? So I'm gonna show you sentences that you may need, and also I'm gonna show you like the basic stuff in Portuguese related to food. What you really need to know, okay? So let's go. First of all, this is very important. Oops. If you are in a restaurant, starter in Portuguese is entrada. So if you're looking for a starter, you look for entradas. The main dish, the main course, is called prato principal, okay? Or just pratos. You can also find just pratos, okay? Dessert, sobremesa, sobremesa. Entrada, prato principal, sobremesa, okay? What about the meals we have in a day? So here we have café da manhã, the breakfast, café da manhã, lunch, almoço, almoço. Pay attention because this word here is very similar to this one in English, right? But they don't mean the same. Lanche, lanche in Portuguese is a snack. It can be in the morning, so imagine you have a very early breakfast and there's still like 1 or 2 hours until you get to have lunch. Then you could have a snack. You can call this lanche. But also, if you have like an afternoon snack, you can call it also lanche or café da tarde. Café da manhã, in the morning, café da tarde, in the afternoon. Jantar is dinner, dinner, okay? And the food and drinks that you're going to need. Let's see them. You can see the translation here, so I'm gonna read so you guys can understand the correct pronunciation, okay? Café, leite, suco. By the way, suco is very popular in Brazil. You won't find very often tea here in restaurants, in cafes, but juice is often offered, okay? Chá, chá. Remember, CH in Portuguese has not the same sound as in English. It's like actually SH. Chá, chá, okay? This is interesting, guys. How do we call a smoothie? Vitamina. We also use this word to refer to a vitamin. But if someone says, eu quero tomar uma vitamina, I want to have vitamina, they mean smoothie, okay? Refrigerante, cerveja, vinho, cachaça. What is cachaça? Who knows what is it? Cachaça, it's a Brazilian special spirit and it's used to make the most delicious drink of the world, caipirinha. Have you ever tried cachaça or caipirinha? Caipirinha, guys, it's really nice, I have to say, because it's fresh, it's nice, it's perfect. I have to say it. Okay, so continuing, guys. Pão, attention to this pronunciation, okay? Pão, pão, pão. Attention, because if you don't pronounce the nasal sound here, you're going to say another word in Portuguese, which is this one, pau. And pau has two meanings. It can mean a stick, a wooden stick, but also dick. So pay attention, okay? Pão, pão. Presunto, queijo, manteiga, ovo, carne de boi. Some people also say just carne, as I said, or just boi, meaning beef. Frango, peixe, porco, arroz, feijão. And I have to say, if you don't know it yet, every day Brazilians eat arroz e feijão. Of course, we have some families that don't do it, but it's something that if you go to a restaurant, an everyday restaurant, you're going to find this too. Batata frita, alface, tomate, cenoura, bolo, torta, chocolate. We write the same way, but the pronunciation is different. Chocolate, okay? So guys, ready for the sentences? Vamos lá? So here we go. Imagine you would like to say that you want a table. You need a table in a restaurant for 2, for 3, for 4 people. You can say this, guys. Nós queríamos uma mesa para 2, por favor. Nós queríamos uma mesa para 2, por favor. Here you put the number of people you have with you, okay? So, if you need to ask the waiter to bring the menu, you can say, poderia trazer o cardápio, por favor? Poderia trazer o cardápio, por favor? Sometimes, menu will be called menu in Portuguese too, but you can also find this word, cardápio, so you can see both. And if you want to ask the waiter, what do you recommend? The waiter always has a good recommendation, right? So you could say, o que você recomenda? O que você recomenda? Then, if you need to say to the waiter that's coming to your table that you are not yet ready to order, then you can say, ainda não escolhemos. Ainda não escolhemos. Okay? On the other hand, if you want to say, I would like to order, please. You call the waiter and say that you need to order. Then you can say, eu queria fazer o pedido, por favor? Eu queria fazer o pedido, por favor? And if you need to say, if you are going to say what you want to have as a starter, like let's say that you're going to order Greek salad as a starter. In Portuguese you can say, eu quero a salada grega de entrada. Eu quero a salada grega de entrada. And if you want to say what you want for the main course, like I'll have lasagna for the main course, you can say, eu quero lasanha como prato principal. If someone just agrees with you and wants to say, I'll have the same, you can say, quero o mesmo. Quero mesmo. What about the meat? How do you want your meat? If you want to say, I'll have it rare, in Portuguese you're going to say, eu prefiro meu bife mal passado. Rare is mal passado. If you want it medium, then you say ao ponto. If you want it well done, you say bem passado. Okay? To thank, you say obrigada or obrigado. Okay? And if you want to do a compliment, it was delicious, you can say tava delicioso. Okay? And to ask the check, for the check, you can say pode me trazer a conta, por favor. Or just conta, por favor. Okay? What do you guys think? Are these sentences useful for you to go to a restaurant? I think they are it's a very good idea if you can go to a restaurant, a Brazilian restaurant, and do the order all in Portuguese. Why don't you try this? If you have a Brazilian restaurant where you live, or if you are here in Brazil, or if you are planning to come to Brazil soon, I think you should challenge yourself and try to do the order and communicate with the waiter all by yourself. You have here many useful sentences. You can practice them. And as I mentioned, I'm gonna send, guys, an audio where I read all of these sentences to you in our WhatsApp group. So you guys will receive the audio and you'll be able to practice it. Okay? So what do you guys think? Are these sentences useful? What do you think? And will you try to communicate with a waiter, a Brazilian waiter, in Portuguese all by yourself? Let me know what you guys will do. I think it's very challenging for us when we are learning a new language to expose ourselves, right? Sometimes when we try to speak a different language, we feel like we are a kid, like a small kid, learning a language. We can't express ourselves. We get embarrassed. But we have to really, guys, ignore these feelings. Otherwise, we won't make any progress when learning a new language. We really need to expose ourselves. We need to put us in situations like this where you need to hear real people speaking this language you're learning. We need to communicate with these people. This is the way you're going to notice that you are able to communicate, that people can understand you, that you can understand people. So you need to do that. You see? So even if you think it can be a little bit embarrassing, start doing this. You start, the first moments will be a bit challenging, be a bit embarrassing, but then you get used to it, you get better at it, so it will be important for your progress to put yourself in these kind of situations. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? I think that's it, right? And I can tell you, I feel the same. When the first time I was trying to speak English to foreigners and not inside a classroom, I was like paralyzed, sometimes very ashamed of speaking something and say something wrong. And then I started to think, I'm trying to speak a foreign language. It's not my language. I was not born in this place. I didn't grow up learning this language, so of course I'll make some mistakes. It's fine, but at least I'm trying to communicate. I'm using what I've learned. I'm learning more. The more I speak, the more I learn. The more I listen, the more I learn. And this way I'm being able to make friends from abroad. I'm being able to communicate, to work. So guys, a language is a blessing. Speak a foreign language, speak another language, it's a blessing. And it's a total different experience when you are able to go to a place, to a different country, and speak to people from this place in their language, and when you can really communicate with them. It's a total different experience. We have many testimonials from our students who came here to Brazil one time without speaking Portuguese and then speaking Portuguese. It's a totally different experience. So, I'll let you guys free. I'll set you guys free now. So let me remind you of something. If you are interested in joining our program and becoming a yapper, as many of the students were here today, this Sunday we are going to open a pre-enrollment, and it means that you guys will be able to join our course with a special price. This price will only be available on Sunday, September 25. Also, we'll give some bonuses, the discount, and a very special gift only this Sunday. So if you want to join us, if you are curious about our program, about our course, and you want to learn more about it, please join the VIP group. You can find the link to the VIP group in the Minicourse Brazilian Portuguese page. So if you are watching this live, you need to go to the page of the course and you're going to find it there. But if you were watching the replay, this VIP group link is right next to me here, okay? So join this group, because only there we are going to share more details about the course, about the price, about the whole program, and only there you guys will be able to join the course, okay? With these discounts and gifts. So that's it, guys. As I said, I'll set you free. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I know it's a lot, but this is our way. We always want to give you the most we can in terms of content, of tips, of knowledge. We're always trying to share the most we can. So don't forget to be in our groups to receive extra content, and in the VIP group to receive exclusive information about our enrollment. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. Muito obrigada. I enjoyed a lot this moment with you. I hope you guys did it. Also enjoy it like me. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we won't have a live class. It will be a pre-recorded class. So it means that from very early in the morning, 6 a.m. in Brazil's time, the class will be already available for you, okay? So when you wake up tomorrow, check our website, you'll be able to watch the class, ok? Beijos, muito obrigada e tchau, tchau, gente. Até mais!